February 26th, it's Monday, and this is a Health and Safety Committee meeting. I call the meeting to order. The first thing on order is public comment. Okay, my name's Mark Wykes. I am Alderman for the 7th District, which is the south side of Merrill. I reside at 1007 Pine Bluff Avenue, Merrill, Wisconsin. I will represent not only myself, but also Chris McGarrigle, who is head of Bell Tower. I have a few things to mention before I read through her letter, but I come before the Health and Safety Committee because of a safety concern that I feel is important in my district, and that is O'Day Street. Okay, O'Day Street's being repaired, and there's a reason why it's being repaired, because it gets traveled quite heavily. You have a golf course there, you have Bell Tower, you have the hospital, you have the clinic. All this has been wearing out the pavement, and obviously it has to be restored. When funding came about, budgeting came about, what was budgeted for O'Day Street was the street itself plus the curb and gutter. When I first initially went out this spring to see what was being done on O'Day Street, the street department had removed a few trees, and I understood that maybe sidewalk might go in, but it was not budgeted in this year's budget. But sidewalk is the issue here. There's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of bike traffic that does use that road. It's really the only outlet for the people that live on T Lane and Divot Street to get access outside of that area. That neighborhood is very active in terms of walkers, old and young. Bell Tower, too, is also, those people are also my constituents. It's not a nursing home, it's a living facility. There's people that do walk. There's people that do get their motorized chairs out or walkers out. And again, a safety issue is the walking, getting outside of the community, outside of their neighboring area. So safety is the number one issue that I bring forth for adding the sidewalk. There's an additional thing that came up within this last month, and I don't know if Mr. Akey's aware of it or the mayor, but the doctors from the Marshfield Clinic are no longer going to come over to Bell Tower. And that was always sort of a luxury for Bell Tower. Now caretakers or staff members have to bring those patients across that street to get to the clinic. And that's an additional concern that just came up within the last 3 weeks here. So safety is the number one issue here. There's a lot of walkers with dogs, kids with bikes, a lot of park traffic comes out of there with boat trailers. Hopefully more will in the future. We're promoting the use of that park. That park's probably the most used park within the city. Next, maybe the Kitchenette. But again, the other thing is access to the park. Okay, we have a campus with 3 health facilities on it. Try to promote health. Okay. And that's the other thing, promote walking and keep access to that park. Make it more accessible. The golf course is used a lot during the weekdays and during the weekends. A lot of business. There's a lot of traffic comes through there, especially 5, 4 o'clock after the leagues are done. Then you've got tournaments on weekends. And I'm sure there's been some close calls on that road. Okay, so arguably, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, that O'Day Street is very heavily used, and it needs a sidewalk. It needs a sidewalk. accessibility to the park would be a secondary reason that I would feel that we should have that. Okay? I understand it was not budgeted, but you're ripping up a street. You're putting in water and sewer. You're putting in new curb and gutter. You know, you got the equipment there. You know, even just half of it, get half of it in. You know, compromise. All right, and that's the end of my spiel, I guess. I do have a letter from Chris McGarrigle. I'll read it, and I'll give you a copy of it. I thought she might have- it's been published. This is Chris McGarrigle. She was unable to attend tonight. I told her I'd at least read the letter to her. I'm writing this letter on behalf of Bell Tower residents. It is my understanding that when the improvement to O'Day Streets are done, the sidewalk on O'Day Street will not be a part of those improvements. I am asking you to reconsider the following reasons. Number one, sometimes our residents, family members will push their residents in a wheelchair over to the clinic across the street. There is no sidewalk for them, and they push the wheelchair in the street. Second one, we have multiple residents in Bell Tower who enjoy getting out to walk beyond Bell Tower property. They must do so on the street, often with cane or a walker. Community members are frequently seen walking in the area. They also have to walk on the street. Driving on O'Day Street in the morning, the sun frequently creates a glare. This makes it difficult for drivers to see pedestrians. Riverside Park would be a beautiful walking destination, but absence of a sidewalk leads to hesitation to even walk down there and back. And then the last item she has here, according to the U.S. DOT, Federal Highway Administration, roadways without sidewalks are more than twice as likely to have pedestrians crash as sites with sidewalks on both sides of the street. Please give strong consideration to include a sidewalk in the O'Day Street improvement. Thank you. Chris McGarrigle, she's the head administrator for Bell Tower residents. So, again, I represent Bell Tower, I represent those residents, and again, this would be beneficial to them as well. Thank you for your time.
Hello, Mark Seaman, 1304 Lark Street, Merrill. I decided 10 minutes ago to come to this meeting because I heard this afternoon from somebody that lives in our neighborhood about the sidewalk issue and that there was not going to be a sidewalk. And I guess for me, it's a safety issue. My wife and I walk in that area, but I'm not coming to you because of us. There are numerous people in the city of Merrill that use that park, and they go down O'Day Street. And I've witnessed close calls, and it's people that are coming from the golf course. It's people that are driving down to the park and coming back up. It appears to be little regard for the speed limit. And I'm not saying that people, I know that people drink when they're at the golf course, and it just seems like sometimes when they leave, they're not as alert as when they went to the golf course. And my wife and I have had to, when we're walking on O'Day Street, I have no problem walking on the grass, but we're walking on the pavement, and we've had to move over to the grass because of the inattentiveness of the drivers, so it seems. Another thing about the safety is many times when drivers are leaving either the park or the golf course because of the time of day and the sunset, and I've driven on that street heading west towards Center Avenue, where the sun is in the sky, you can't see anything. and that's where pedestrians are at more risk at that time. So I understood, at least, and I don't know if the numbers are accurate. I heard a $55,000 price tag on the cost of the sidewalk, and I don't know where it would start or end. I have no idea. But I've worked with budgets before, and I know that there's always some movement in budgets, moving money from here to there, and I'm hoping that maybe that could be considered with regard to this sidewalk for the safety of the citizens of Merrill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Didn't think the first guy spoke.
Hello, my name's Jay Telesti. I live at 1306 Lark Street in Merrill. I'm speaking here on behalf of myself as well as my wife. We live in that neighborhood. We've lived there for about 34 years now. And we've had relatives at Bell Tower for the last 18 years, my dad and now my in-laws. So very familiar with that area. That area is an area that throughout the year, all seasons, there are many people who are walking, a lot of dog walkers in that area, and a lot of people that bike, including elderly people that are riding their bikes in that area as well. Over the years that we've lived there, there's just been numerous elderly people walking in that area with walkers, with wheelchairs. Through the years, a lot of the sisters that have lived there are being pushed in wheelchairs around that area. So it's an area where people really utilize the area for exercise, and it's again not just in the summer, but throughout the year. As Mark Seaman mentioned, O'Day is really a busy street, and particularly during the golf season and when Riverside Park is available, it's really busy. My wife and I have just chosen that we avoid O'Day Street as much as we can. We get across it as quickly as we can. When we had children living at home, we said, you don't go on O'Day Street. You just have to avoid that if you're out riding your bikes. And it's the heavy traffic, again, because of the golf course and Riverside Park. But it's also with Marshfield Clinic, the hospital, Bell Tower, the Menard Center. There's a lot of traffic coming there. I went there this afternoon. I just counted. There are 9 driveways and 3 roads that feed traffic into O'Day Street in just 3-block area. Again, 9 driveways and 3 city streets that feed into that. We've learned to be careful there. As I'm not here for myself. My wife and I will be safe. I don't expect to be involved in any type of accident there, but I'm really fearful for the other people that use that area, and I just hope that someday there isn't some type of serious or fatal accident on O'Day Street. And I agree with everything that Mr. Wykes and Mr. Seaman have said in terms of the sun, too, is an issue there. So I just hope that at least sidewalk can go on one side of O'Day Street this summer when the construction process takes place. So thank you.
Okay. Any other public comment? Second time, any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, minutes from previous meeting. Consider placing the minutes from January 22nd meeting on file.
So moved.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nuisance complaint?
Oh.
Oh. Is that Mr. Rick?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my
welcome.
gosh.
Nuisance complaints and vouchers. Mr. Ashbeck.
He's not here. I'm here in
You're
his
filling
stead,
in.
yes.
Okay, so Mr. Pottle's filling in for Mr. Ashbeck today.
214 South Park Street, the owner at that property has been very uncooperative with making corrections, so city attorney has requested that it be scheduled for trial. 1600 and a half East First Street, those violations have been corrected and that file's been closed.
Anything else?
Nope, that'll do it.
All right, general agenda items, item number 5, considering
consider a temporary Class B picnic license for Lincoln County Rodeo Association Incorporated.
Vouchers.
Oh, vouchers.
Vouchers are,
Pay the bills.
yeah, that's fine. Nope. Okay, 2, discuss and consider approval of vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers.
I'll second that. Any discussion on those vouchers? Any questions? None.
Ooh, I have none.
Mr. Kaler has none. Mr. Rick, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. All in favor of approving the vouchers, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? That passes. Item number 5, general agenda items for consideration. Consider a temporary Class B picnic license for Lincoln County Rodeo Association Incorporated to sell fermented malt beverages on June 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2024 at the Merrill Festival Grounds in conjunction with Wisconsin River Pro Rodeo.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
I'll let Mr. Rick make the motion to approve.
Uh,
I'll second his
Mr.
motion.
Kaler, or Mr. Rick first, and then Mr. Kaler second. Approve. Okay. All in favor, or any discussion before you let that one go through? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? It passes. Number 2, consider a temporary Class B license to sell wine for the Knights of Columbus on April 6th, 2024 at the Expo Center in conjunction with the Knights of Columbus fundraiser. That was, you have something to say about that?
We received an email
Yeah.
today that that's been withdrawn, right?
Yeah, they withdrew it because they're going to hold it at Lesson Gyms instead, and they've already talked with Krista, and so they'll be refunding their money.
So there's nothing going on for number 2?
Nope.
Okay, number 3, consider a temporary Class B picnic license for Merrill Chamber of Commerce to sell fermented malted beverages and wine on May 18th, 2024 at the festival grounds in conjunction with Merrill Food Truck Palooza.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Motion.
Okay,
Sorry, Gus.
Mr. Kaler and then Mr. Rick seconded it. Any discussion on Truckapalooza? It's going smoothly?
Everything's good.
Good, okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Against? And that passes. Number 4, discussion on sidewalk from Martin Street to T Lane, north side of O'Day Street due to safety issues for pedestrians, bikers along the busy street.
I'll make a motion to forward this to Board of Public Works.
With a recommendation at all?
No recommendation.
Okay.
It's already on
Oh. I'll second his motion.
Okay. And it is on the agenda, Mr. Hickey? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Well, I have a discussion.
Oh, we want to
As long as we're opening this door,
Okay.
do we charge property owners for sidewalks? We used to.
We do. It's a special assessment hearing that we normally have probably in January and then in March. We notify the landowners of what they would be charged. On this one, it's kind of a unique situation because we'd only put sidewalk on one side of the road, not on both. Well, we could put it on both, but again, that doubles the cost. But when you look at putting it on one side, take for example on Memorial along the high school and the block where the Pinecrest is, that was a prime example. We put it on one side. Both sides get charged half.
Okay.
So if you look at, right now, the prices, it's about $40 a foot. And that's 1,300 feet, roughly $52,000 just for the concrete. There's some prep work in there too. So why I didn't have it included in this project, because it wasn't there before and nobody petitioned for it. We had this project bid out last year and we didn't hear a single word about it last year. And then, again, Mark had brought it to us about probably 2 months ago, a month and a half ago.
We met.
Like I commented to Mr. Wykes, we can build whatever, but it has to get paid for. again, $52,000 that would get assessed to the property owners. We haven't in the past used TID money, and I think that's kind of a slippery slope, because I think Riverside would be next, and that one, you can do the math on that one, how expensive that one would be. So if it's something that the neighborhood feels is a good investment, in the past, we've charged other landowners, so I think we should be doing that in this area. But it improves the value of their property, as long as it's not on your side of the street, I guess.
I mean, on the south side, there's only 2 property owners,
Well, you got the clinic.
and then the Bohms is the rest of it, and then
Right.
on the north side is Bell Tower, but they're nonprofit.
They would
and-
get charged.
Yeah.
St. John's, when we did work over here, they got charged for curb and gutter. And, yeah, so we were going to extend the sidewalk to the driveway of Aspirus, which lines up with the Marshfield Clinic sidewalk going to the south. We were going to extend it that far, but we weren't planning on extending it. And that would only get it to, what is that, T Lane by the golf course there?
Mhm.
It would only get it to there. It wouldn't be going down the hill. To going down the hill, you'd have
Oof.
to do quite a bit of work. You know, there's ditches on both sides.
And erosion.
Yeah.
How much land is to the north there that the park owns, or the park? How deep does that park go in?
Well, on the corner there, there's that last, what do you want to call it, complex that the Bell Tower built.
Yeah.
And then it's probably, I'd say 150 feet from that entrance is where the park, but again, that's straight down the
Yeah,
hill. You'd have to
right, you'd have
do
to-
quite a bit of earthwork to get that at a decent grade.
You got
Correct.
I fully support it. I agree it should go to Board of Public Works.
Well, I brought it forth to this because.
No, I don't blame you.
It was,
Mm.
it's a health and safety issue.
But that
And
could be-
I didn't look at the budget. I didn't look at it closely to see if the sidewalk was included. And maybe that was my overlook too, I don't know. But
Now, that could be said for several areas. You look at Webster Street, we're putting in, what is it, 104 units. There isn't an ounce of sidewalk out there.
yeah.
St. Paul and Superior, we didn't put anything on there. T Lane Divot, there's no sidewalk that would lead into this. Yes, it'd be nice to have sidewalk everywhere, but it costs
Well,
money.
this isn't anywhere though. It's a busy street.
Yep.
There's other busy streets that don't have, I'm not arguing.
I'd like to
but-
see a comparison, traffic comparison of what other streets is more busier than what.
I think you'd have a fair argument on Riverside.
Yeah, oh, yeah, Riverside is.
And you look historically, why wasn't there sidewalk on there before? It's,
Probably because someone didn't want to pay for it.
And
I'm not arguing that it would be a upgrade as far as safety goes.
It would be. Yep.
But, yeah, access to your park, I mean, that's city planning.
Well, you do have access off of Center Ave with the
Yeah,
corridor.
That's not always access through there. There's washouts in there, and, take a bike down there, sometimes it's not the most stable place to ride a bike, or, it could be fixed up a little bit. But, like I said, it's a pretty active neighborhood of walkers in that area. And I'm not saying my district's the only walking district, but there are a lot of active people in there, older and younger, that do walk consistently. And they go through the parking lots at Bell Tower and the hospital. Yeah, it's a nice campus up there, but, again, for safety reasons and access to the park, I think it makes sense. And we're tearing up the street, why not take care of it?
Rod, OD Street has already been bid out, that project, correct?
Correct.
So if we were to do this, it'd be a separate project then that we'd have to bid out or have the street department do. Typically on an extension that long, you'd probably bid it out, correct?
anything over 25,000. Normally, if we would have somebody else do it, yeah.
How much does your sidewalk crew do? Lengthwise?
We have our hands full keeping up with the rest of the sidewalks in the city.
Okay.
Um,
That was part of the reason why we would recycle and garbage truck removal, right, was to have a kind of concrete crew.
For keeping up and not new construction. It's all the maintenance program that, Darren, you can attest to it, that we've.
Yeah, we don't bring in an outside contractor anymore to handle that stuff. It's all done in-house now, and it works very well. The guys do a great job with it, but they do it between doing all their other things too, so.
We can bid it out as a separate project, but again.
I understand, it wasn't budgeted, I
No, but-
understand that, and we're looking for, you know, be
Yep.
consistent and saving, you know, what we can, I understand that. But I also understand efficiency in having a road being redone, that you got all the equipment there, right there, and, okay. Public Works, I guess, that would be the next place.
As long as you say it, all in favor.
Okay. Okay. All in favor of moving it to Public Works, where it will be discussed again?
Aye.
Favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that passes 3-0. Okay. Next item here. Mr. Klug, Chief Klug, Fire Department.
All right, going back to January in our monthly report, we did have the 4 strategic planning meetings. Based on Chairman Wykes' request, I'll have a separate information agenda item for you next month on that. Other items of interest from the previous month would be a meeting with NTC to discuss working with them to have a certified firefighter 1 class at Merrill High School, trying to actively recruit and help the retention and recruitment issues that we're experiencing in the fire service. So we've had some very productive meetings between the high school staff, counselor, and the Dean of Public Safety from NTC. So hopefully a lot of more exciting information to come on that. We also had interviews with our hiring panel for a vacant, soon-to-be vacant, with a retirement coming up here for firefighter paramedic. We went through the process of that. That was approved by Police and Fire Commission, and conditional offer has been made to one of the 2 candidates that we interviewed. And there'll be more information on that forthcoming in the future as well. And I'll probably just touch on then, we did receive a $3,000 donation from the Merrill Lions Club last month, and that was used to purchase a new thermal imaging camera. So I wanted to recognize them tonight as well for their support. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions or comments from the committee.
I have none.
I have none. Other than my wife told me to tell you that she's looking for an email from you.
Okay.
I just walked out the door, she said. See the chief, tell him to check his email.
Mr. Rick, do you have anything to say?
No.
Okay. Okay, moving on to the Chief of Police and his report.
Our monthly stats are attached there. You can see it was a busy month in January compared to previous year and the previous month. Not a lot of activity. We've got the new squad car in service finally. If you've noticed, they've got their new graphics on them. Baja's did a great job for us again. So we're all officially marked finally. And the old squad car, the Tahoe, is going to be set to go to auction here in a couple weeks. There'll be some published advertisements for that. You'll see some Facebook posts to link people to that auction. And outside of that, I can take questions or if you have any.
I have none.
I have none, other than, are you getting inundated with open record requests like other agencies are claiming they are with body cam stuff now?
There is legislation pending on that. at the state level. I wish it was worded differently. So far, our requests are related to court discovery and attorney requests. Typically, they're not private person requests. Right now, when there are court requests, they're entitled to everything on the video, even if it's normally protected, so they get the full video. When it's a private person making that request, if there's protected information on it, we are not editing. We don't have editing software. We're not, making new videos with, blotted out things on them or whatever. We're just not giving them the video. We're not going to invest in that and do those record requests. So far, the courts aren't requiring us to. So that's what we're doing right now. That would be a significant investment in both software and time if we're required to do that in the future.
Okay.
Police dog doing well?
I don't want to even answer, but yeah, so far.
Okay.
Yeah. Find some wood to knock on.
Okay.
He gets tested frequently for the fungus,
Mhm.
essentially is what it is. And he's almost got it out of his system, so
Okay.
still feeding him the pills right now.
All right. Anything else? Okay, moving on. Next item, monthly report from Lincoln County Humane Society. I have no questions on that. But they have a lot of cats and dogs, I guess. huh?
Yeah, we'll pick some up.
Yeah, I got enough. Okay. Moving on, consider placing monthly reports on file.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
All right.
and that's done. Okay, date and time of next meeting will be March 25th in the Chamber Hall at 5:15. The April Health and Safety meeting will be scheduled on Monday, April 29th at 5:15, if the committee approves, due to a scheduling conflict. Okay, so those are the two dates for the next two meetings. I ask for an adjournment.
Is it okay for the April 29th?
Oh, you want it okay on that?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
a week
it's-
after the normal day.
Yeah,
That's okay?
I'm fine. Are you fine with it, Gus? Okay. Okay. Okay, then I guess adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Rick first and Mr. Kaler second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for being at the Health and